Michael, I'm conflicted.
Oh, no.
On one end, I'm happy, and one end, I'm sad. I'm happy because it's Eagles training camp starting. That's always an exciting time. I'm sad because it always means it's the end of summer when it happens. It's like, summer's over. This has been a miserable summer with the heat, the humidity anyhow.
Brutal.
Start over. I want a mulligan here. Eagles training camp starts at Lehigh. The rookies are in, but two big rookies are not in. The top two picks, Brandon Graham out of Michigan and Nate Allen out of Central Florida. They need these guys in there, South Florida, whatever, somewhere in some Florida school he went to.
Somewhere down there.
Free safety. They really, I think, need Allen in there. And
he is much more important in my mind than Graham, just because of the position he plays, and he probably is going to have to play. They have the injured starter at free safety, so he's a second-round pick who probably is looked at as a starter, which is pretty unusual in the NFL in general, and certainly unusual for the Eagles at a pretty key position. Free safety more and more has become a really key position the way the pro game is played now. Graham, I'm less worried about, and you know, this is the kind of thing that we tend to fuss about in July and completely have forgotten about by September. He's going to sign, and a lot of the signing of first-round draft picks is the slotting thing with other guys signing. So that I don't think is such a big deal. But obviously it would be better if both of them were in training camp. Sure.
Other questions are coming up. Was the first training camp that Andy Reid's had that Don McNabb is not there?
Right.
Kevin Kolb takes over quarterback. I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with him there, but I think he has such a young team around him, and I think some of the young receivers he have that have speed, this could be a good thing. I think Kolb will be throwing ahead of the ball and not throwing behind his receivers as much. I criticize McNabb, but I guess I am sort of too.
Yeah, you are. Come on, Starkey. The average age of the Eagles roster is 24.
Wow.
I think they're the youngest team in the NFL. If not, they're very close. And I think it's probably kind of there's a fortunate part of that for Kolb in that he is seen as a veteran guy. I think, and I think he's seen as a guy that this is. I'm getting all this from other media people, but you get the sense that he has a lot of respect in the locker room, and he is viewed as a leader, and that's not going to be as big an issue as it might have been.
I think they did it the right way. He had a couple years to sort of be groomed into the position. You get the respect in the locker room. It's not like he was just thrown out there. I think you're going to have some questions with the offensive line. The center position, Jamal Jackson's out for at least a month into the season.
Yeah, that's a real problem.
How does that get addressed? Because Dallas exposed him in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they have a center problem, and really all of their offensive line positions, except to an extent Harriman's at the one guard spot, who probably was their best lineman last year, and he has, I guess, a foot injury. Yeah. So really all five spots on the offensive line, they've got position battles are not clear, injuries, whatever's going on. And as we know, the offensive line is the engine of the football team and certainly could make Cobb's life miserable if it does not fall into place.
Now, on the defensive side, you get Stuart Bradley back, who I think is going to make a big difference in middle linebacker.
Right.
I still have some question marks. Sheldon Brown's not there anymore. What's going to happen at the cornerback spots?
They have issues at corner,
Sante
no doubt.
Samuel doesn't like to tackle, and the other spot, Ellis Hobbs, he's been out with an injury all of last year. I love Dick Duran coming in to run the secondary. I think he's going to have some stability to a young coach and Sean McDermott as his defensive secondary coach. But I got some question marks back there.
They do have some question marks. They were not really very good defensively last year. They gave up something like 27 touchdown passes. And I think that the drafting of Graham indicates that they want to get back to being able to pressure the quarterback without having to blitz all the time.
Right.
That's certainly what his drafting was about. So they've got a lot of issues on defense. You could look at this as maybe a transitional year for the Eagles, kind of almost a rebuilding year. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if that's what it is, and I guess we'll find out. But it's certainly the way their roster fits together. It certainly looks like that's a possibility for this year, and they're dealing with a fan base that has absolutely no patience for that.
No.